Hello there, my name is Peter Thompson and this is one of my teaching DVDs, and this one is about how one of my pupils, his name is Philip, went down from 18 handicap when he was 12 down to a scratch handicap. For people watching this who don't understand what the handicaps are, then I'll give you a brief explanation. A golfer who plays a scratch is a theoretically perfect golfer. On scorecards you will find something called a standard scratch score. It's on all cards and they will vary from as low as 50 up to maybe 75, 76. The harder the course, the higher the standard scratch score is. The easier the course or the shorter the course, then it will be lower. So on a very short golf course, a scratch golfer may well go around in, let's say, 54 shots. On a much longer golf course, the same scratch golfer would go around in, let's say, 75 shots. So scratch or a zero is a benchmark. Some people I teach have gone down below scratch, down as low as +5, which is 5 shots below scratch. But scratch to me is a very good handicap, and not many golfers ever achieve it. They really don't. Top pros don't have handicaps, they just play golf, and the average score of golfers over the last 50 or 60 years has hardly changed. It's about 100 shots around, giving them a handicap of something like 28 or 30 shots around. So scratch is brilliant. Philip got down to scratch, and this may well surprise you, I gave him no lessons on short shots. I gave him no lessons on sandbunker shots, no lessons on putting, and I didn't ever say to him once, we'll get your handicap down to scratch. That isn't how I teach. I teach along the lines of, we'll take a person, male, female, young, old, and we'll see if we can make that person play better golf. And I usually can, not always, but most of the time I can do. So the starting point was clearly Philip's swing when he came to see me first of all, which I'll show you in a second. I decided with Philip, as with everyone that I teach, we must prioritize on getting the thinking process right. And the thinking process, as far as I'm concerned, is this. We're going to use one swing only for all the shots. For the shorter shots, we will swing back less far, and for the longer ones, you will swing back to your full backswing. The swing stays the same, the clubs change. With the same swing, Philip can hit maybe a driver 250 yards and maybe a lob wedge 50 or 60 yards. Same swing. So we have one swing only, that's used for all shots, long shots all the way back, shorter shots less far back, and then we have one ball position. Just one ball position, about 2 inches inside the heel. So driving off, ball inside the heel, a couple of inches. For the shorter shots, bring in your right foot and the ball stays in the same place. Ball's in the same place virtually all the time, unless you want to hit the balls very, very low sometimes off a slope, or if the ball is going a slope this way, then we change the ball position. But for most basic golf shots, one ball position, one swing, and the clubs will then change and do their job. That's why they're all different. So Philip took that on board, and we started the process of getting him to stand to the ball properly, left arm club in line, get hold of the golf club properly, get the posture right, get all of this right, because all of this represents 75% of the shot. All the things you do before you move represent 75% of the shot. Let's go and look at my computer screen now, and I'm going to show you Philip's first swings ever, with me anyway. Let's have a look. Now I apologise for the quality of this picture, but it was taken quite a long time ago. In fact, it's taken 18 years ago. And this is Philip's stance, which is quite good actually. I'll draw a couple of lines in. In fact, I'll draw 3 lines in. Takeaway, the first move back to me is very important. The standing is 75% of the shot. The first move back is going to be another 10% of the shot. So by the time the club is parallel to the ground in the backswing, that's 85% of the shot sorted out. So this is Philip's first ever swing from this angle with me. So I just recorded the swing and then had a look at it and decide what to do with it. Now that is a long way out. Don't forget he's only 12, handicap 18, so already a fairly competent golfer. But look at that takeaway. Club head at address is in between these 2 lines, and the club head needs to stay in between these 2 lines virtually all the way up and all the way down before Philip's there. That's a long way out. This line is on his right ankle bone, and at the top of the swing, the butt of the club, which is the end of the club, should be on the line. That's the swing plane line. But it's nowhere near. It's absolutely nowhere near. So I can't suddenly change the backswing. I have to change the address position and then change the first move back. I could see from his first swing he was quite good at hitting through the ball, quite keen on hitting the ball rather than just getting the swing right. So we then had to work on the first move. That's a long way out. Still a long way out. Weight in the wrong place. Look at the club coming down. The club head now should be in between these 2 lines where the ball is, and it's completely outside the top line. In my teaching, I call this the top line, and I call this the bottom line. And when we address the ball's more or less in the middle of those 2 lines, and throughout the swing, it needs to stay in between the 2 lines. Long way out. 18 handicap. Within 1 year, down to 15. Within 2 years, down to 12. Within 3 years, down to 6. Let's have a look at Philip's swing now. This was taken March this year, 2018, and Philip's obviously now 18 years old, working full time, still playing golf to a very low handicap and enjoying it tremendously. Let's draw the lines in now. So again, the ball is in between those two lines, and we need the club head. It's gone a little bit out, but I don't really mind that because it's now back in line, and then at the top of the swing, the butt of the club dead on the line, club face dead square. I remember the first swing when the club head came down entirely above the top line. Well, not anymore. It's taken a lot of practice, a lot of hard work, and Philip now understands his swing pretty well, and I'm sure in 10 years time we'll sort of playing off scratch 1, 2, 3 handicap, but who knows. Like that. Extremely good. Just going to split the screen now. And we'll draw the lines on again. And it's important to understand that the ball goes where the club goes, not necessarily where you want it to go. And with the best will in the world, the one on the right, club head's, well, it's gone off the screen now. That just cannot work in the long term. All my lessons are long term. I'm not interested in the initial lesson or the lesson I'm giving. It's the lesson I'm going to give in the future. That's the important thing. So coming down, club entirely above that top line, and coming down now, more or less perfect. Stay the lines away. So that's Philip's handicap, going down from 18 down to scratch in about 9 years. But he was at school and went to university, spent a lot of time playing golf and learning. He's now pretty well qualified in his job, which is a good thing. But it's gone from there to there. And this part of the swing, as far as I'm concerned, when we can't see the shaft's hidden there between the hands and the club head, that's 85% of the shot. Many of Philip's lessons were given with the net across, so we couldn't see where the ball was going. It's not important where the ball goes at the end of the day where the swing goes. And if your swing goes over here or over here, you've then got to start changing it. From there you might try and get it back in again, but you might not. From here you might try and get it up again, but you might not. So as I see it, the ball isn't moving, the club isn't moving, so we get the stance right, grip right, posture right, first part right, and then carry on to the top of the swing. And we're all different. Some people can turn around a long way, some people can't. If your shoulder turn is 90 degrees, that's fine. No point in going back more than 90 degrees. No point at all. 90 is plenty. Some of my best pupils, they turn their shoulders maybe only 75, 80 degrees. One man of +4, shoulder turn, 80 degrees, but there, hits the ball beautifully. So on my website you will find lots of DVDs about grip, posture, stance, takeaway, and Philip's taken all of those on board and done very, very well. And I show his swing from lesson 1 through to his swing playing off scratch. So Philip's first ever swing always draw lines on the screen. When I'm teaching in my studio, people can see themselves within these lines, and it works really, really well. So these lines, one is inside the right heel, and the one on the right is inside the left heel. For its feet, as you can probably see, the right one is pointing out a long way to the right, and it should be pointing out the camera, and the left hand one is pointing out the camera, and it should be turned out quite a long way. The left arm club should be in line, which it isn't, and his head should be behind the ball, which it isn't, but all that we changed. Looking at the target, it's always a good thing. And the shape of the swing, the overall shape, is pretty good. Having said that, his head's had to move a long way to the right to get behind the ball, which is this way, and his right hip, if you watch his right hip, is now inside this white line on his right heel, and now it's going to go to the right. But not bad. At impact, which is just before that frame, the shaft now is angled a long way forward, a long way upwards. The shaft is a long way in front of the left arm, which means the ball can go high, low, left or right. And but it got down to 6 in the third year, and then down to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down to scratch in 2019. In fact, one lesson his handicap was 1, and I said to him jokingly, don't come back until your handicap is scratch. And he knocked on my door the following day and said, I'm down to scratch. He'd just been around Ferndown, where he was playing then, lovely golf course in Dorset, and he'd gone around, I think it was 68, whatever the score was, I can't remember now, and he got down from 1 to scratch, which was fantastic. So that was then, and then we'll look at the improvement. Let's draw the lines in. So, top of the backswing, hip now inside the line. Bit of movement to the right, but it came back inside the line. This is the crucial thing. When the ball is hit, the club head must be behind the hands, and before the ball is hit, both hands must go past this vertical line. And he's there. That is a fantastic impact position, and he hits the ball now extraordinarily straight and very consistently. People say, but look at his head, it's looking at the target, that must be wrong. And I always say the same thing, well, let's say it is wrong, let's say it's completely wrong. His handicap in that shot was scratch. So to me, scratch is a fantastic handicap to achieve, and therefore that cannot be wrong. Superb. Good starting position, good balance, good impact. I'm going to now put on the screen his first swing. This is the year 2000. And I never said to Philip once, your handicap will come down. I think it's very unfair to say that to anyone. It's easy to promise it. What I do is I just get the grip better and the stance better and the ball position and an understanding of one swing for all the shots, and people tend to get better. So let's watch. and you can see in those two swings similarities. The top of the swing, but the stance is very different. Let's watch the impact position. Now watch. Difference is phenomenal. Look at his head. Look at the gap between his right hip and the line on the left. Look at the impact position. Look at the left arm bent and the shaft way in front of the left arm. This one left arm dead straight and the arm leading the shaft. That is a superb impact position. Absolutely superb. And that's a key difference between the first one on the right and now it's 18 handicap, scratch handicap. Impact, superb. So, no magic secrets, I'm afraid. 18 down to scratch, very impressive. Still having lessons. He was here last week. It's now March, well no, it's April now, April 2018. And we just do the same thing every time. Let's get the ball position right, feet, left arm club in line, posture, take away, and if you get all that right, then the shots will just come. Guarantee it. Shots will just come. First move, 75%, 85%, 95%. I hope you've learned a lot from this DVD. I've enjoyed making it. It's always great when one of my pupils does so well. And I hope you can look at the DVDs on my YouTube site and learn from them. And again, get your handicap down, not by getting your handicap down, by getting the static parts better and the moving parts better, and then the shots simply follow on. Shots come afterwards. You can't just produce the shot. You have to do lots of good things in the stance, in the backswing before you hit the ball, and then you hit better golf shots. I guarantee it. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.